to the ranking member, recognized for the purpose of questions and witnesses.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When students dream about college, they shouldn't be left wondering whether the federal government will still be there when they arrive, wondering if the Department of Education will be open, or wondering if the programs they rely on, Pell grants, campus support programs, HBCU funding, will still exist by the time they graduate. I spent more than 40 years in the classroom as a professor, and I know that uncertainty by itself can derail a student. When programs disappear overnight, students lose their footing. And when an entire federal program is put on the chopping block, the consequences are felt in every classroom, every campus, and every community. So let's put the numbers in perspective. The Truman Foundation is receiving a lot of attention today. But students aren't struggling because of the Truman Scholarship. They're struggling because Congress passed a law that gutted Pell, slashed student aid, and weakened the support systems that help low-income and first-generation students stay enrolled. And while we debate a scholarship program that has supported public service for nearly 50 years, we're watching in real time the federal government dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. The Trump administration has laid off nearly half of the department's workforce. It's canceled and withheld billions in grants, and it's signed interagency agreements to move critical functions, including the entire Office of Post-Secondary Education, out of the department altogether. Well, that's not reform. That is a retreat from our responsibility to students. So let me turn to our witnesses. Ms. Harrigan, the Truman Foundation could receive roughly $30 million in federal support over 10 years. But H.R. 1, which my colleagues supported, cut $284 billion from education over that same period. So can you speak to the relative importance of that $30 million compared to the scale of the $284 billion in cuts? And what does that difference mean for students, for institutions, for the future of federal support for higher education?
Absolutely. It's a drop in the bucket. The billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars that we spend every year, the hundreds of billions of dollars that are going to be cut because of this bill, those cuts are going to fall directly on students, families, and institutions. Students are going to have to make hard decisions about whether they can go to college, stay in college. Folks are going to have to make hard decisions about how they're going to manage their student loans with the debt that they currently have. Parents are going to have to make hard decisions about whether they can afford to send their kids to school. Schools are going to have to make hard decisions about what programs they're able to keep, some of them whether they're even able to stay open with these changes. We should be very concerned. We know that there's an affordability crisis in higher education. We know that there's a student debt crisis and that is disproportionately burdening families of color, low-income students, veterans, women, all the folks who are disproportionately harmed when we make these huge cuts. This bill doesn't make life easier or make higher education more accessible for any of these communities. It puts it further out of reach.
So thank you. And my colleagues have talked a lot about eliminating the Department of Education, but I'm not sure the American people understand what the department actually does for students. So let me ask, can you tell us what the Department of Education does for college students, for institutions of higher education? And can you talk about the negative impact that these layoffs, grant cancellations, interagency transfers have already had, especially on campuses trying to serve students, and how will the continuing dismantling of the department affect our most vulnerable students, low-income students, first-generation students, and students of color?
The Department of Education was created by statute by Congress, and one of its most important functions is that it protects the civil rights of students. Students are able, if they are being discriminated against on their campus, in their school district, anywhere, to file complaints and to have that investigated by OCR, the Office of Civil Rights. But right now, because that department has been gutted, and that office specifically, thousands of complaints are going unanswered. Folks don't have a response. Last year alone, there were 23,000 complaints made to the Office of Civil Rights. Many of them are still open. Folks have submitted complaints this year. There is no continuity. They have no idea who their case officer is. There is no idea for next steps. And that impacts the schools and institutions as well. Many of them are waiting for guidance on what to do next. They're waiting on guidance on how to handle this. They're trying to do the right thing, but they don't even have anyone they can contact at the department.
So let me ask you about the dismantling of this department and the transfer of elimination of core programs and how it affects HBCU's ability to serve their students and strengthen their campuses and continue their mission.
Anytime we try to move broad swaths of a program. We saw this already with the transfer of the Office of Career and Technical Education. There were disruptions in funding, disruptions in the system. All of this takes time to implement. It's not something that can be done overnight. We see this moving to departments where they don't have the expertise, the resources, the years of experience with these programs. And so there are going to be funding disruptions, and that will be most felt by the schools that are most under-resourced.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.